Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. This is your host, Severen Henderson, back again with another episode of Department 3C Presents a Podcast Connected to Fire. This week on the show, I had the distinct and great opportunity to speak with Mike Vitale of the Village of Lincolnshire Fire Department. We talked about on and off duty activities, how he has a rescue dog and how that dog pretty much saved his life is how he likes to describe it. This is another one of those great episodes. I actually drove out to the Village of Lincolnshire and sat down with him in his firehouse and got to talk with him. It was real cool. Just kind of a on-scene episode. We kept trying to coordinate to get into the studio, but things just didn't shake out. So I said, hey, how about I come to you? He agreed with that. I went out there. We got some tones dropping in the background, which was pretty cool. Made it extra authentic to me because we were in a real firehouse, a nice firehouse, by the way. They had a lot of nice equipment. And like I said, we talk about firefighting, living on and off duty activities. We talked about the dogs. We talked about his hobbies, what he likes to get into, all that other kind of fun stuff. And the way that we got together on the podcast, I put out a call to action on my Facebook page saying that, and I'll say it again, and I think I said it on another episode, but trying to wrangle podcast guests is like trying to wrangle stray cats. It's like you put out milk or food or anything. It's like, here, kitty, kitty, and they come, and then they hear a sound, and they get frightened, and they run away. Because I had a bunch of people who were supposed to come on, and then, like, at the last second, hey, sorry, I can't make it. Something came up. Life happens. Things happen. It's not a big deal. It's all good. I'm just really happy to be able to put out content and be able to, have a podcast to even talk about things. So, with that being said, I would really appreciate if you send me any feedback that you have. I have a couple of email addresses where you can reach me. My first email address is department3c@gmail.com. That's just a regular personal one. And I have info@department3c.com. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I said department3c@gmail. So if I didn't say it, I'm saying it again, throwing it in there. You get what I'm trying to say. Point is, please reach out with feedback because that's what, keeps the show better, keeps the show fresh, keeps the show going. And like I said, I just really appreciate if you're listening, the fact that you are listening. So thanks a lot for that. We have some other episodes coming up, and this is an intro just for that episode, but we have some more exciting, interesting people to come on the show. Thing about it is, like I said, it's a show connected to fire one way or another. I'm going to connect it to fire and first response, but that is what this whole show is about. Pretty much it's the Sevy show with his guests. So thank you for listening. Thank you for checking me out. I really do appreciate it. So one more thing that I would like to say, I have a website that's getting redone coming out. So you're more than welcome to check that out, department3c.com. It's revamped, redone, reissued. It's beautiful. I just had a chance to take a look at it today, and it just blew my socks off. So I hope you like that. Another thing about this episode of the podcast, I talk about, like I said, on and off duty. And with that being said, we talk about business ventures, or I talk about business ventures and things I'm trying to do. One thing I want to promote is a crypto company I just started working with called Headway. If you want some information about Headway and how you can earn some money with cryptocurrency, and it's not a scam, sometimes those people come and hit you with certain things and you say, hey, give me this money. Hey, now do this. Hey, now jump through this hoop. Hey, now jump through that hoop. Oh, now you owe me $500. All that. This is not that. This is just a regular investment opportunity. Please like I said, if you are interested in that, hit me at one of those email addresses, either the department3c@gmail.com or info@department3c.com. And you can find that email on my website. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope you enjoy this episode. And please, feedback. Always need, love, and appreciate feedback. And don't forget to connect with me on different social media platforms at department3c.com. Or if you want to connect with me personally, I am Sevy on most social medias. After all that, let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone. This is Severen Henderson back again with another episode of Department 3C Presents, a podcast connected to fire. And today I'm getting the wonderful opportunity to hang out in Lincolnshire. Did I say it right?
Yes, Lincolnshire,
okay.
yeah.
Lincolnshire. We're at the main station, and we're talking with Mike Vitale. Today we're going to talk about his journey, how he got to where he's at, how he got here, such a nice firehouse and everything.
It's not bad. Fire stuff. Not bad.
And of course we're going to talk about what he does in his time off. So without any further ado, Mike, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out. I had put a Facebook post out there talking about trying to wrangle guests, or like trying to wrangle stray cats. And
yeah.
You're about the third or fourth person I got. So I got to say that every time that I get somebody that responded to that I caught up with them.
Well, yeah, I met you at the studio.
Yep.
It was right after you got burned.
Yes. Right after And they said, we didn't think he was coming in. I said, yes, I got work to do.
Yeah, you got out of the hospital right to the studio.
Shh, don't say that too loud, because I was still laid up, but it was after hours. So
yeah, it was a few days later. Right,
there we go. Yeah, we fix it. But yeah, I met you guys there. Now did y'all both have a dog, or it was just the one dog?
Nick was there with his dog, Waffles.
Okay.
I was just there without.
You was just there hanging out. Okay. Yeah. And Waffles, I just saw, because I just started teaching ropes, and I was just teaching a tech class. And
he
was in
the rope tech class.
Yep, and he had Waffles.
Him and his dog,
every day. And in fact, we even put the dog into a system. And
high lines and everything.
Yep. Yeah. So that was new for me. That was only my first tech class teaching. Yeah. And I haven't taken tech in about 9 years. So I had to brush up back on everything. I'm still learning myself, but they say when it comes to coaching and teaching, the 2 is better than a 0. So
Right. Yeah, I'm teaching rope tech tomorrow, so
okay.
I had to spend a little bit of time yesterday reviewing some of the specifics, but
going back over everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Making sure everything.
Now you teach. You want to say the name for?
I work for Elevated Safety.
Okay, I didn't know if we wanted to put it out there.
Yeah,
or not, but yeah, and you were teaching my other class that I just took, the tower.
The tower rescue.
Yeah. Now and I'm retaking Sprat, so
okay,
I'll be back out there.
Yeah, I gotta take Sprat again. Well, I gotta level up.
So
yeah. I'm up for recert the end of September, so I have to. I'm going to level up, but I still need a couple more hours, so I'm like pushing it to the very end.
Right to the max. Yeah.
So it's it's 500 hours on rope minimum.
Oh.
Yeah, to level up.
Well, working with them helps out a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to climb. You were climbing on the system that we had in tower and everything. You said you're teaching tech, so.
Yeah, tech and tower, and we teach rope ops, confined space ops and tech, Sprat, tower. A bunch of confined space classes for public works and other private organizations, windmill companies, all sorts of stuff. We're all over the place doing actual jobs, and then also doing teaching.
Yeah.
So I was out in Philly on One Liberty doing the job out there.
Okay. And were you doing a tower or something else?
No, we were taking light covers off the side of One Liberty in Philadelphia.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said one. I thought my mistake. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so we do all sorts of stuff. But yeah, teaching tech tomorrow. So
okay,
had to brush
it
up.
Seems like so much fun. Like that job just really seems really.
And it's
cool.
It's a great group of guys that great group of guys that run it, and great group of guys that teach and work. So everybody has fun, and it's that's all you can ask for. You get paid to do something fun, and with a bunch of guys that are a good time.
And for myself, that's part of the reason I wanted to teach really bad, is to keep my skills up and to know. Like I said, I didn't take that class, but a million years ago, and then say, hey, you got to redo everything. So I'll be dope in a minute.
Rope is one of those skills that if you don't use it, you
definitely lose it.
Yeah,
because it was like tie bowling. I'm like, I tied that when I was 17. That might have been the last time I tied a bowling for real. So cool. Now another thing that I talk about on my show is kind of what people do outside of work. Of course, we can talk about fire stuff for forever, and actually, before we get there, I do want to ask more about the station here and what it consists of and the city and everything. But another thing I talk about is off-duty activities, what you like to do, because even though we're firefighters and that's what we do, I kind of promote the fact that that's not our only identity. I mean, we have to be people outside that.
Everybody I know that's in the fire service does something else outside of the fire service.
Absolutely. So that's what I want to talk about later on. But before we get there, please tell us more about the wonderful, is this a city, a town, a village?
This is a village.
Okay. Village of Lincolnshire.
Yeah, town, village of Lincolnshire. We are a fire protection district, so we cover like 5 or 6 different towns.
Okay.
Parts of different towns. So we cover Lincolnshire, Riverwoods, Vernon Hills, Prairie View, which is unincorporated Lake County, a bunch of other unincorporated Lake County areas, unincorporated Cook County areas. Where else? Riverwoods, a little bit of like Deerfield, ish, Bannockburn. But yeah, it's like 15 or 16 square miles.
Okay.
Lake Cook Road on the south, Route 60 on the north, and then I-94 on the east, and then it kind of goes in and out on the west side.
Okay.
So 3 stations. This station that we're at has the squad, the truck, which we're getting rid of the truck and just going to run a squad. 2 ambulances and our battalion chief.
Okay. What about the other stations?
The one station is just an engine house.
Okay.
On the north, and then the south side station is an engine and ambulance.
Okay. How many people on the department?
We're short a few, like everybody else.
Yeah. That's the service overall.
Yeah. So we're short a bunch, but we have, I believe, I think like 42 or 44 right now.
So that reminds me of back home, and I was saying, for the listeners that know me, I'm originally from Cleveland, and I worked for the city of East Cleveland. We had 2 stations with 53. Manning was supposed to be 53, but I don't think the whole entire time I was there was ever 53. So, like I said, like the service overall, we kind of just run short and make do with what we have.
Oh, yeah. So our minimum is 10 a day.
Okay.
And we're trying to get to 15 guys per shift.
Okay. So, ours used to be 12. And we had, at the time, 2 engines, a truck, and 2 ambos. But we called them squads back there. So,
a little different out there.
A little different.
Terminology is a little different everywhere you go.
Right. That's one of the... Yes, that's what I wanted to happen.
Yeah, it's an EMS call. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to. That's why I wanted to do it at the firehouse, because that, like I was saying, that adds that authenticity. That it gets to go off and get to hear some
and
tones.
We've been I've been here 12 years. I think I'm in my 12th year. When I started, it was like anywhere from 5 to 7 runs a day. Over the last 3 months, we were probably averaging 12 to 15 a day. My last, not yesterday, but my shift before that, I think we ran 21 or 22.
Ooh, yeah.
So it was a busy day. Yeah.
Now, out here, what do you guys do the colors or letters or numbers?
We do colors. So I'm on gold shift. Today's black shift. Tomorrow's red shift.
Now, please, if you know any history behind that, can you explain it to me? Not necessarily the listeners, because
I have no idea. I'm not because there's different shift setups where everywhere you go, it seems like a lot of the city, anything close to the city goes by numbers for their shifts, for their platoons or whatever. Some call them platoons, some call them shifts.
Yeah.
Out here is all colors for whatever reason. And then, you go elsewhere, then they work like 24, 24, 24, 24, all 4 days.
All 48, yeah.
There's
I love it. I just like, going to different places and talking to different people, seeing how their setups are a little different. Some guys like their shifts or their schedule. Some guys, even though they getting a check, they hate it.
Right.
It just depends on the individual.
Right. I'm hopefully at our next union meeting, I'm not going to push for it, but I want to bring in the talk of 4896s. So
Ooh.
2 days on, 4 days off.
Will that be like optional, or how
that
would you
would
guys work that?
We would have to obviously go to it fully. But
So everybody.
yeah,
Okay.
our department. But there's a lot of benefits as far as sleep and your recovery outside of the firehouse, like wellness at home. They've done a lot of studies that you're happier, you have a better relationship with your significant others or your kids. You're around for more things for your kids. Like just for example, with obviously the fire service and the high divorce rate, you take a guy who's got half splits time with his ex and their kids, as opposed to just having his kid 36 hours. He's gonna have him 3 days.
Yeah.
On his 4 days off.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have kids, but I could see that as a benefit.
Well, you got a fur kid.
I do.
we gonna get into that too. But
she's enough of she's a lot more work than I think
than a regular kid. Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know.
Not
haven't experienced that yet. Hopefully soon.
I have kids, but I've never had a dog of my own. I've always helped other people take care of their pups. So that's like the thing with kids. It's like either you like them or you like other people's kids. And I'm like, I like dogs, but I like other people's dogs. So other people's dogs are cool. I don't know if I would ever get my own. It would have to be something like your situation for it to be. It would have to be like a rescue dog or something.
working dog. Yeah.
But before we get to the dog, just a couple. How are you, sir? Before we get to
That's my fire chief.
Okay. The whole department?
Yeah, he's the big boss.
Okay, cool.
No, it just happened.
Well, we have chiefs and they just are chiefs of a division, so why that's why I was asking.
He is 5 feathers.
Okay, there we go. Where was I at? Talking about before we got to the dog. Oh, we were still talking about Lincolnshire. So, yeah, that's a decent number. And the hours, I never heard that, but I am a fan of homework. So now you just gave me some homework to do. I haven't heard that. I haven't even looked into that. But I know for us in the city, one time, and rest his man's soul, he passed away. But a medic I was riding with, he was from Cleveland as well too, and he was an older gentleman. And I said, I don't think EMS should work 24s and the 3 days off. He was like, I want my 3 days off.
Yeah.
I'm like, I said after a certain time, the care kind of goes down. I mean, as nice as you try and be, it's just when something come in at 2 a.m. and you like have there, it's not necessarily what's up all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, getting woken up in the middle of the night at anywhere you're at is not fun.
No, it's right. So that would be my thought. But if you're not running a ton of calls and the work is split very equitably, I can see how that would work depending on the department. I know that wouldn't work for us, 48. But like I said, for them, I just thought they should do 12 and 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like 2 or 3 days off.
Yeah, but everybody I've talked to, and everybody that I've talked to that have went from 24/48s to 48/96s, they're like they would never go back.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, they love it. And just recently I was actually applying out west to Colorado, and I got a job offer, but I turned it down. I had too many good things happening here.
Yeah,
so
I can feel that.
It didn't make sense. But their schedule, and again, everybody I talked to was like that. Some a friend's dad who worked in Niles. He left at like 10 or 11 years and got hired in Breckenridge. I think it's called the Red, White, and Blue. And he went to the 4896, and he's like, this is the best schedule of all time, coming from, working in Niles
24-48
to 4896.
I can see that. I'm always a fan of
More
change.
times waking up in your bed, in your own bed.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
the firehouse bed is like my own bed.
Yeah.
I mean, we got assigned was at this point, so it is what it is. But I can, like I said, I'm a fan of change. A lot of firemen, they are very
Set in their
adamantly
ways.
opposed to any type of change. Like you change something, it's like you done came and stole their firstborn.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
I would explore it, and
Yeah.
I don't mind when I work 48s. It depends on where I'm at. Now, sometimes you work with 48s, you want to go jump off one of the high rises in the city.
Yeah.
But other times, it's not the worst thing in the world. So I can definitely understand that. Well, that's enough for Lincolnshire.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a good job.
It's a
good,
great job.
good people, good place. There's a lot of, good things happening here, and we a real young department, so there's a lot of good changes and
Progressive.
progressive. Yeah.
Yeah, because younger guys like to change and do stuff, like to keep up with newer
Yeah.
tactics.
So there's
and
there's a
everything.
lot of like guys like myself and my Lieutenant Craig that you met downstairs. We're always training, always doing stuff down on the truck floor. We have a training center down the street that is shared between 5 departments. So we're always going out and training and finding better ways to do stuff and bringing it back to the department and just, putting on trainings for the department, going over equipment and just staying involved and invested. Because I think if you work at a place like this and, you run maybe, 5-10 fires a year at the most and couple good wrecks or, and mostly medical. If you don't have fun when you're at the firehouse and you don't go out and play fireman every day, while you're on shift, it's going to be a long 20, 30 years.
Well, not even that for me. A lot of times when people like on purpose go to places, now not for medical reasons or anything else, but like just because they're lazy and like I'm gonna go somewhere where I don't do nothing, I get the same check. No. And when something does happen, they burn the whole block down because they weren't even training while they were bragging about not doing nothing. That just doesn't sit well with me because you don't serve. Well, first of all, you don't serve yourself. Second of all, you don't serve the citizens. You just kind of.
Yeah. So we took an oath to protect lives and property and also the guys we work with, So if you're not invested in it and you're not staying up on the new technology or the new, like when like limited ventilation fires and all the different UL studies, if you don't stay up on that, you get lost and, you make poor tactical decisions or you show up on something and you're overwhelmed. So if, you train every month for one call in 20 years, it's worth it.
I have a buddy, and maybe he'll listen. He will hear this, but he's back home in the Cleveland area, and he works for one of the suburbs. They have the nicest equipment you'll ever see, the nicest firehouse you'll ever see. It's like, not the White House, what's something really nice? The Taj Mahal. It's beautiful. Point is, anytime they get a fire, like everything is just gone.
They burn it down.
Yeah, no names, please. They turn every apartment complex into a Olympic-sized swimming pool. So we keep that, like I said, no names, please. Keep that inside. Well, outside for the listeners, but y'all will figure it out.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were talking about kids and being off and your fur pup. So one of the reasons that I wanted you on, and you said saving or dogs saved my life. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I got the dog in her name's Irie. She, got her in 2017. Yeah, 2017. And I got her. She was a handful. She was crazy, and so I was doing like all sorts of training, or starting to do all sorts of training with her, and then got into the search and rescue stuff with the Illinois Task Force 1. Got involved with that, and then got just, that's like, this is cool. I'm into this. Training dogs is cool. The whole thing is, it's something new. Again, like we were just talking about, staying up and trying, bringing new things to the firehouse and the fire department and fire service in general is, it's always good. So it was something new for me outside of being a paramedic, outside of being a fireman, outside of being, a technical rescue guy. Another thing to, add some, add a little more to this job and a little more excitement. So I got involved with that. And just right before, I think it was, I got to figure out my dates. I think it was right after that. Because I got her in March, and then December of 17, my lieutenant, Jim Carney, he was a lieutenant here, started here with him. And a little backstory, just to jump back real quick.
Go ahead.
I started here as an explorer.
Okay.
So I went to high school right down the street, and they had an explorer post, so I was on that. And he was very involved with teaching and instructing and doing stuff with us. And then we had a paid on call program that kind of evolved from the explorer post to send guys to the fire academy and to get them experience and all that. And he was, again, very involved and very he was the guy that would be out on the truck floor at 10 o'clock showing you something, because that's just who he was.
Going over. Yeah.
So in 2017, he passed away. His picture is right there.
Yep. I see you got I saw the name.
Yeah.
Because at first when I saw it, I thought it said Carrie, and I'm like, are they trying to? But then I reread it and I see. So yeah. Yeah.
So Jimmy Carney. So he passed away from duty-related cancer in December of 17, and he was like me and a bunch of guys here, our mentors, like coming up through the fire service. He was always hands-on, always training, always reading the latest on fire behavior and fire attack and tactics. And funny story about that, we had a basement fire, and it was like right when all the UL stuff was it wasn't coming out, or it was just starting to come out, and about ventilation limited and closing the doors and all that stuff. So they got this basement fire, and they took out all the window wells, and then they went through the front door into a huge house, went through the front door into the foyer and then into the basement, and they were making a push down the stairs of the basement. And when myself and another company got there, we went in the front door behind to search. Another EMS call.
Oh yeah, I love it. Keep going.
Yeah.
We need all that sound.
Yeah. So as our second and third due companies got there, he was the first due engine there. He was at the top of the stairs. His two guys were making the push down in the basement. He felt us walking in, and he felt how spongy the floor was, and he pulled his guys back up from the stairwell, because they had just made the first landing or the down in the basement, but he pulled them back out, told us to bail out because the floor was going to give, and I went out the front door. One of the guys, I think two of the guys that were on the truck, bailed out a window in another room, and him and Craig and I think Dave, they hightailed it back to the front door, and literally right after that, the whole first floor fell into the basement.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was a couple months later when all that came out. He was like, he's from Wadsworth, so he had a kind of a funny accent. He was a little hillbilly. So he said to us one day, he's like, man, I could have killed us all if I hadn't taken out those windows. I did it completely wrong. So it was just, he was invested and he learned his, that was not what we're supposed to do, but that's what we did for so many years.
Right.
So anyways, lost him in 2017. That was a huge hit for us in our organization, and a bunch of us that were real close to him. So that was the first of several very tragic life experiences in the years after this. So 17, my lieutenant passed away from cancer. 2 years, almost 2 years later, maybe a little less, April of 19, my best friend, Paul Miller, died in a motorcycle accident. Somebody pulled out, an old guy pulled out in front of him, and he passed away. And me and him we were inseparable. We did motorcycle trips. Like, we rode across the country from San Diego to Jacksonville up to DC for Memorial Day, and then back home, like 2.5 weeks, 5,000 miles. We went up to Canada on a motorcycle, Sturgis a bunch of times, dragged boats all over the place to go boating. So lost my best friend in 19, April of 19. And then April of 2020, because it was last year, April of 2020, another guy here, Mark Amore, had an accident on his at a side job. He was grading it's like a driveway, or I guess it was a driveway, but it's on the chain of lakes right in Fox Lake. And he got some news from his dad that his uncle had passed away, and him and his uncle were real close. And he misjudged the distance from how close he was to the edge of the water, and the skid steer went in the water, and then he drowned.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Yes.
So that was 3, about 4.5 years, 4 years apart or so. Losing my mentor in the fire service, my best friend, and then another mentor and friend, who actually, another story, me and Paulie were on a snowmobile trip with Mark, and he hit a fence post and blew out his tib fib, open fracture.
Oh.
And this was like 2 a.m. We were heading back to our hotel, not hotel, like our Airbnb or rental, whatever. And he blew out his leg, and he stood up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And me and Paulie looked down, and we're like, "Dude,
You are not fine."
you are not fine.
Yeah.
So Paulie ripped off his shirt. We patted his wound. We put a tourniquet on his leg, and then I drove him to the firehouse, which is like a half hour away.
Oh.
And then I called 911, and then all the volunteers came in to transport him like another hour or so, because we were up in the Northwoods, so another hour or so to a hospital. And when he was on the back of the sled with me, he was like in and out of consciousness, because he had, he lost a lot of blood. Lost a lot of blood.
That, yeah.
So we saved his life, me and Paulie.
Yeah.
And then I lost both of them within almost a year to the day.
Yeah.
In 2019, 2020.
Oh man.
So it's been and then even before that, a couple years before Jimmy passed away, I lost my dad. So it's been a lot of loss and a lot of grieving and a lot of processing, like why this all happens. And then going back to the dog. So she pretty much from when Paulie passed away, she wasn't allowed upstairs, and like in the house, she was only downstairs, and very, like, we were very strict on where she can go. But the first night after spending the night in the ICU, I came home to sleep a couple hours, and she just walked right upstairs. Didn't even care.
That's it. Yeah.
Didn't even care. She knew. So, kind of how I've dealt with all this loss, at least I feel like how I've dealt with all this loss, is through her and through all the training, because we train every week, every Wednesday for 6 hours, and then we do 2 additional 8-hour trainings a month.
Okay.
So that's 24 to 36 hours of training every month, and then all the stuff at home that we do. So I pretty much dove like headfirst into dog training, the dog world, and that was my way of kind of investing myself in something else besides sitting at home and crushing beers.
Yep.
Because that's what the whole Paulie's accident was in April. Probably from April through the summer was like just drinking.
Yeah.
And trying to shut out, emotions and all that.
And all too often, that's how we deal with stuff as guys a lot of time, and then as firefighters, you got to be tough all the time.
Right.
And it was great that you didn't fall into that trap completely.
Right. So I was definitely, there was definitely times where I'm like, I need to tune it back a little bit. And that's where like I said, the dog training came in. I just fully, like, head first dove into it, not just like the search and rescue stuff, but got into like tracking and trailing, started going to dog training seminars, like fully invested in it just to keep my mind learning something new. Obviously it's a lot different learning something new and then utilizing it with an animal that has, that gives you back something, some feedback. So just full on into the dog world and training her, and it just was a crutch, and to try to steer me in a better direction than the one that I knew I was going down.
Okay.
And so it was it's been an interesting 4.5 years. It's been a lot of fun, but it's been like I told you, she for sure saved. I don't know how bad it would have got. Maybe it would have got worse. Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe I would have, realized that I need to, focus on something else. But so that first year was like absolutely what kept me going, because I had to prep her for tests and get her to a certain level for certification and all that stuff. So it was just constant training. And then when Mark passed away, me and my buddy built the screened-in porch. So I took the grief and the grieving from that loss, and I built a really nice, fancy screened-in porch attached to my house.
Okay, well, that's nothing wrong with that. I'm really happy that you found a positive outlet for what was going on in your life, and I would just encourage anybody, any listener, to try and find something positive. Of course, you're going to have that little bit of downtime where it's like, drink.
And you go out with the guys, and it's,
group therapy.
Group therapy. But for some guys, it gets too much, obviously, and dealing with home life and dealing with firehouse life. And there's a lot of stresses in our job, not actual calls, but just there's a lot of stresses just waking up in the middle of the night. You had stress, getting weird sleep, going home with not sleeping, dealing with, having to homeschool kids, especially with COVID and all this stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of substance abuse and stuff in our jobs, and I found a way to get around, just abusing.
Put something you found something else. I think I talk so much between this podcast and talking to people and having conversations and everything, but I was talking to a friend. The reason I say that, I can't remember if I was talking about this on the podcast or was I just talking about this
just hanging out, right? Yeah.
But I was saying how most of my friends and a lot of my whole family is firefighters, and we really have that type A, go hard or go home, all in personality.
Oh yeah.
And we can either go all in negatively,
yes,
with boozing and drugging and whoring,
if possible, being a bum and just not showing up ready to work. And
we can either go all in like that or go all in like you did. And you just went. I'm really happy that you found something positive.
Yeah, it was a real shitty 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tough times for sure. And also like the teaching for elevated safety, that was another outlet for me to invest in, keep my mind busy, keep myself busy. And, I'm the type A personality. I always got to be doing something. I always have something to do.
That's what I say, I'm never bored.
Yeah. There's always,
I don't even know what that feeling is. I'm never bored.
Yeah. So there's always something. For me, my schedule is just always jam-packed. There's always training to go to, or I'm teaching, or taking a class, or I'm doing dog stuff, or so for me, I think that's how I've dealt with all the loss and all the grief and grieving and all the pain is just, and my outlet is keeping myself busy.
Yeah.
And the dog was for sure, that was absolute 100% saved me from possibly worse.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. With that being said, and like I said, go hard or go home, where do you find or do you build in time for yourself, like to just chill out every now
What's
and
that
then?
like?
Okay, so but I'm not gonna preach to you, but that's something that you absolutely need to do.
Oh, for sure. So I leave Thursday going up to Torch Lake in Michigan, dragging so I got a boat, got a motorcycle, just sold my Jeep. So there's other, there's.
There you go. Okay, made it seem like you was just.
No. There's always. Well, I'm always doing something. There's always something to be.
Long as you're doing something for you, because that's what I'm getting at. I want you to do stuff for yourself.
Oh yeah, dragging the boat up to Torch Lake on Thursday for a few days. A lot of friends are meeting us up there, coming up with us, and then back home Tuesday, and then we go to Idaho for a week.
Okay.
Wednesday to Wednesday. Well, yeah, I think Wednesday to Wednesday.
We in the Sunday of summer. You know what the Sunday of summer is?
No.
August.
Oh, yeah, the Sunday of summer, yeah.
August is the Sunday of summer.
Well, I think September is still part of summer to me.
Okay. I'm with it.
It's still warm.
I like that first part. Yeah, you can still get stuff done. I'm with it. What's that? Labor Day, and then that's when everything shuts down.
Yeah, so we're going to Idaho for Labor Day. And we have some friends that just moved out there a couple months ago. So we're going to spend Labor Day out there. And then I'm off pretty much the whole month of September.
Okay. And then once you come back and you whip these dudes into shape and get them on some 4896s, it's going to be off even more.
Yeah, I got to do that. I got to bring that up, I think, in our September union meeting.
Now, how many does that translate to about approximately the same amount of days we already worked now?
Same days. You work less weekends. I'll send you my whole sheet.
Yeah, I'm in, not that I'll ever get
there's
there,
a lot of pros.
But because they had the opportunity to work 1 on 3 off, and they were like, nah, because 2 reasons: because we don't like change, and because we won't get to see every shift. So. Because you got the 3-shift rotation, so that was 2 of the reasons they said they didn't want to go to that.
Yeah,
that was before my time, so those are just the stories that I hear.
Right. Yeah, changing the fire service is never good. But going back to what I was talking about, being progressive and doing, taking a hold of new things, new technologies and stuff in the fire service. We've, with again. Me investing my time into positive things and not, going out and just partying all the time or being a bum. We took our dog team and we put it together with drones and our drone team. So we have a dog and drone team, which is called the SRST, Search and Rescue Strike Team.
Ooh, you into the drones too?
I don't fly the drones, but currently we have 2 pilots here. I guess they're called pilots.
Yeah.
So we got 2 guys that fly drones.
You got to get a real
FAA license to fly the drone. So we again investing in my time into positive things. Myself and Todd Basagio from West Chicago. He's also on the
TRT.
He's also on the task force as a dog handler. So we saw a need, and specifically after one of our other guys, Johnny Valentine from Waukegan, they had that building explosion. He's also on the task force, but he ran his dog on the building collapse. But the task force never went to this building that exploded. So we're like, we need to have these dogs available to be utilized for local incidents.
For what they
what we train them for. So we developed this team, and hopefully at some point it'll become another Mavis technical team. Not that you guys in Chicago know much about Mavis, but
they don't. I tried out for them. Maybe they told me wait a little while longer. So I said no problem.
Well, yeah. So like out here, we rely a lot on mutual aid. You guys just have the city.
Just more people.
Just
just throw them at it.
Throw more people at it. Well, we if we get a fire, if we get some sort of incident, we need to rely on our neighbors to provide assistance to facilitate whatever the job is. So we're hoping that this team becomes, because we have dive team, hazardous materials team, the TRT technical rescue team, we Swiftwater team. So we're hoping that this gets at some point sucked up into MABUS, and then it becomes another avenue and option for people to pursue in their careers in the fire service. So we got dogs and we got drones, and we respond to, again, any like building collapses or building explosions, and then also missing people. So if somebody a kid walks away from home, or an autistic kid wanders off, or Alzheimer's patient, dementia patient leaves a memory care facility, our dogs are also trained in tracking and trailing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So we can show up and we can, get an article of clothing or a pillowcase or something, and then we will hopefully track them down. But the biggest issue that we, like anything new, is getting the name out there, getting it, having people know about it. And
well, that's what this is for. So we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
That's having it's the gift and the curse, because I've been on a department where we scraping by with nothing, and now I'm on a department where any problem we just throw more people at it, and I can't say one way is better than another. I mean, I guess I have to split it to maybe 60-40, because it is great having a ton of people to just say, here, take this. But sometimes it's great to have a few people that are like really superiorly trained, like really know what they're doing, or what they know what's up. And that's kind of the company I'm on now, but it's just a little different.
Yeah, and that's what we do out here is, everybody's firefighter, paramedic, and then people, like you kind of specialize in other stuff.
Do extra stuff. Yep.
But we have to, we can't just throw 6 guys in the squad company at something. We have to. There's only 2 of us on my shift that do TRT. We have 1 diver and 1 hazmat guy. So if we have an incident, we need to rely on other people to help us out from other towns around us.
And you know what else that does? Well, for us, it we all know each other, and that's pretty much it. And I got to meet you through classes and, like you said, in the studio. But with other departments, it gives you the opportunity to meet other people. You kind of pick other people's brains, because even if you are training together, you might learn something just a touch bit different from another department, whereas we just all kind of do it the same way all the time. And
until you guys come to our classes, and then we teach you
right, exactly.
We teach how it should be done.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna disagree with that. So
it's really cool what the city's doing with you guys, is sending you to all these extra classes. And that's good, because it keeps you guys up on what the newest technology is, what the newest techniques are, and it's good. It's cool to see all the bigger cities, not conforming, but actually making change in their organization.
I wish it was more, but
hey, baby steps.
Baby steps. We take what we can get.
You guys got Harkin winches. You guys got all the fancy equipment now.
Now, yes, we do. And they told me who was responsible for it, but I don't. I just know we got it, and I know how to use it to get us out of a jam. And like just yesterday, we were talking about, if we get a window washer, you going over? I'm like, I just have to not look down. Just because we go out and train a lot on the company I'm on now. Not that we didn't on my other company, but we were like super busy. We were so busy we didn't get a chance to do as much. So it was real life stuff there.
Yeah.
But now we saw some window washers. We went up, talked to them, asked them, who they gonna call, what they gonna do. None of them spoke English, so we figured that out. It was pretty cool on the spot training. So
we had the last window washer that you guys had. He came through Spratt with us. Yep. And whoever was on your company came through Spratt as well.
Yep. And he's the one that saved the guy.
Was it Justin?
No. Felix.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was.
And he was just at Tower with me too. So,
yeah.
Yep. He is a smart guy.
It's good.
Yeah.
So I mean, being progressive and everything, that's what kept me here.
Mm-hmm.
Versus because I got a job offer out west, and that's what I've wanted for so long. But all this stuff that I've worked on here, and that like my company, the guys I work with are second to none.
You look kind of West Coastish.
Yeah. That's the plan, is to get out west as soon as I can. But there's a lot of good stuff happening, and there's a lot of just like this dog stuff, and elevated safety has grown tremendously since I started working for them.
And they're going everywhere.
Yeah, so we're doing stuff all over the country, teaching.
I follow that Instagram page. They just
everywhere.
Yeah, just doing it.
Yeah, and again, all the guys that work there are amazing.
Yeah, everybody's great.
Everybody's so skilled and knowledgeable, and it's just a lot of fun to do and to work with those guys.
Yeah, and y'all got sweet clothes.
Oh, you gotta have the swag.
Yeah, them clothes is pretty dope. Like, they got these live jackets and pants and all this other kind of stuff. Oh yeah, I got a hat.
Yeah, you come to the class.
Guys. Yeah, I got.
You come to the class to get a hat.
See if I get another one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you?
No. I mean, we hit the biggest, the big stuff. When we were texting back and forth, we wanted to hit on like the mental health stuff, and I think I kind of have a unique and both tragic story, and everybody's got issues. You talk to anybody, both in the fire service and outside of the fire service, there's stresses and there's bad shit happening everywhere. And I mean, you look at the world we live in and all the craziness that's going on, but you really have to, look at what you have and be grateful for the things you have, and and work hard to get those things, and be thankful for what you've earned and what you've been given. I think that's super important, and I'm a very social person, and it's real hard. It was very hard with COVID to be cooped up
to yourself and everything.
Yeah. And for me, mental health is engaging with friends, having good relationships with friends, going to dinner, talking about things beside, it's real good hanging out with guys from work, but it's also good hanging out with those guys and not talking about work.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
if all we can do is talk about work, we got a problem. It's got to be something we interested in. So.
Right. Because there's so much outside of the firehouse and fire service, and that's again what I think a lot of guys do to balance their work and home life is they do side work, and you talk to anybody, whether they're in the trades, or we got a couple guys here that do like landscape design and maintenance and plow snow, and you got guys that flip houses. We got a couple guys that work in gyms and are CrossFit instructors and have personal training businesses.
Positive stuff.
Yeah,
stuff better than sitting around talking.
Right.
That's my little hobby.
Yeah, it's good, but it keeps it keeps you busy and keeps you engaged, and it keeps you having communications with people you don't really know, and just I think that human interaction is getting.
It's key.
It is key, and
it's something we need. It's
with the last year and everything going to like Zoom meetings and stuff.
Yep.
It's good to be.
And it's good to get to sit and talk to somebody in person. Like you said, we could do this over Zoom all day, but
it's not the same.
Yeah, that's why I say if worse come to worse, if you take a long trip, my kids they like dogs, or like they like the dog, they'll play with the dog. But I'm just really appreciative of you doing this with me and doing this for me. So thank you very much. I'm gonna let you go, let you get out of here, and.
Cool,
that's
man.
It.
Yeah,
all right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, buddy.
This has been a Fire and Iron Media production. You have something to say, people want to listen.